Destructoid. Destructoid.
We're live. We're all messed up. Look at our cameras. And we are live with Spot Dodge, a live Nintendo podcast where every single week we react to the latest Nintendo news and talk about the games we are playing. This week we have a ton of stuff to talk about. No introductions. You know everybody. Let's get into all the gaming news. Brett's still loading in on my end, right?
We're diving right into it.
We're just going to dive right into it. I'm sure you're all just going to say, I'm doing good, and then we're going to waste a bunch of time. So let's just get into the games. How about that?
Okay.
And just to be clear, Brett is not in, he's not with us, right?
I'm here.
Brett is buffering.
Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
He's buffering. Okay, so he is with us in terms
King
of
Daddy
audio.
buffer.
Yeah.
Can you guys at least hear me?
God, my dogs are barking.
Yeah,
of course,
we hear
right when
you.
the show starts.
Okay.
So you're
Very
hypothetically
chaotic
here
start.
with us.
Yeah, I'm here for the
This is mayhem.
All right, guys. So many games to talk about. Let's start with one of the biggest announcements of the week. Oh, and by the way, this week's going to be another non-Nintendo news-focused show because they've been quiet as hell. We are going to talk about when they're doing their next Direct later on in the show, but there's some rumors about that and whatnot, so let's get into it. Starfield, guys. Lot of mixed reception about this game. I'm seeing mostly... Honestly, I'm seeing a mix of everything, but I would say the criticism is very high for this game. So I won't start with me. I want to start with John. What do you think about Starfield? Do you have any interest in this Western RPG?
Yeah. Honestly, I haven't actually watched all of the gameplay because I was like too busy writing up other stories and amid that hurricane. But I thought the ship building part sounded really cool. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know how in depth it's gonna go, but that just sounded cool to me. I don't know, I don't care about things like frame rate, and I guess people were pointing out it looked like it was doing 30 FPS on a Series X, which is bad, but I don't care.
That is rough.
So I don't know, realistically, unless I buy it on PC, I don't know if I'll ever play this, because I didn't play Skyrim either to this day. And I didn't play Fallout 4. I played an hour of Fallout 3, so I'm not
John
really the audience.
hates Bethesda. Probably not the best person to start with.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go and switch to Mary.
But-
Mary, your
Okay.
thoughts?
But I think it looks good.
Oh, okay.
I
that's good.
have played
Yeah.
Fallout. I have played Bethesda games. I think it looks great. I think it looks cool. I like the way it looks. My concerns though are the story and how are you going to be able to interact with the environment and the NPCs. That's kind of what makes Fallout and Elder Scrolls games really fun is you can be the hero, you can save the day, or you can be the supervillain and just go around causing mayhem. And I really like being able to pick my customized path as a character. And right now they haven't shown a lot of are there gonna be dialogue options? They talked about this group of space bandits pretty much. I'm okay, but what if I decide I don't like the good guys? What if I want to go join the space bandits? Can I do that?
Yes, you can. That is one thing they actually confirmed. You can choose to
Okay.
be on the bad guy's side, which I think is really cool.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, and there will most definitely be dialogue options, especially after finding out that the main character is not voiced. So they're probably gonna have tons of options for that.
Yeah. But then also the 1,000 planet thing kind of made a little bit of my soul die. The completionist in me is I filmed my reaction. It's on TikTok. You can, or it's not on TikTok yet, actually. I think it'll be up tomorrow. But you can just see the wheels turning in my head where I'm just what if I want to go to every planet? What if I miss something really important? What if I miss out on a really cool planet, but I don't know where it is because there's 1,000 of them?
Now, before we move on, Mary, for that TikTok, we have to add the numbers on the screen, whenever it's gonna zoom up on your face. You did that?
I should. I need to. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I need to add that.
Add those like numbers from that meme from
Yeah.
I don't. It's like a Zach Galifianakis or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah. So you're feeling mostly positive on the game?
Mostly positive, a little hesitant about just like those kind of things. Like I said, like the dialogue options. But you said they confirmed you can decide the bad guys. That makes me feel a lot better. I'm feeling better than I was like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. There's apparently going to be a lot of different choices and like different ways you can like experience the story, but I'm pretty sure they also said that like if you just want to go off the beaten path and not even follow like the main story, you can just pretty much do whatever you want in this giant like universe. Like you can
Yeah.
like I don't know exactly what yet, but you can do other things apparently.
Yeah, who needs main quests? They're overrated.
Now, honestly, I'm pretty interested. I'm interested in the main quest because a lot of people were acting like this is just No Man's Skyrim, basically. But like traditionally, all Bethesda games follow like they have a golden path. There's a story you can follow that you can complete. It's just usually when you play a Bethesda game, you get lost in all the other stuff, but you still sooner or later can complete the story and whatnot. So I'm very interested in what this game has to offer. I know that presentation-wise, the game looks worlds above anything Bethesda has done before. Yes, I know not everything's going to look like Horizon Forbidden West, all right? But this is a massive game, and when I saw the character models, I can't believe people are down on the character models. I think they look amazing for a Bethesda game. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? You zoom up on this guy's lips, you can see the creases. Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This is like the best character models I've ever seen from Bethesda.
I think it looks
and, like,
good.
And even the face animations were like animated really well, and that's like all like automated based on the like the sound. They have like a system that they use. That's like the best automated face animations I've ever seen in a game. But not face animations overall, just like the automated ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super digging this game. Like a lot of people are like making digs at it because it's like No Man's Sky with like getting the stuff from the planets and taking it like and doing stuff with it. But it's like, guys, where's the dialogue in No Man's Sky? Where's the characters? Where's the relationships? Where's the lore? None of that is in No Man's Sky, from my understanding. I've never actually played the game, but that's what I love about Bethesda games is all of that stuff. And if all of that stuff was in No Man's Sky, I would be all about it. But it's not. They're two different experiences. They look similar. They're both space games. You collect minerals, all right? But these are two totally different types of games. So I don't fully understand all the criticism. And once again, I feel like the criticism is just overwhelming for some reason now. Like, all of a sudden, all eyes are on Bethesda. They give us these better face animations than we've ever seen, and people are somehow down on it. And just overall down on a lot of stuff. And same with Sonic. Sonic, nobody gave a shit about Sonic games. Nobody was complaining about Sonic games.
Well,
Nobody was complaining about Sonic Forces when it came out. It was just quietly terrible. But this new game, it's like, what? A Sonic game is terrible? My stars! Like, it's so crazy. Like, I don't know. The criticism for every single game now is just like every game has a magnifying glass on it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the hell, guys? Just do you guys even like video games?
No.
Right. So yeah, now that I've ranted a little bit. Oh, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, like, I saw people complaining about like the combat. They're like, it just looks like Fallout, but in space. I'm like, okay, imagine the people that made Fallout made a combat system that's similar to Fallout, which I don't have a problem with that combat system.
Honestly, like,
I was like,
as long
it's
as
fine
it
to
gets the
me.
job done. Yeah. It looks like it gets the job done. I'm sure there's other elements that'll be included. Like, I love the Outer Worlds, but it was very much just like a basic shooter. Then you had like a slow down time mechanic. But that's all it really needed for the style of game it is. This is a role playing game on all, like, just completely. Like, you just exist in this world. The combat, I wouldn't say necessarily is that important in a game like this, but it does look like it needs a bit of work, to be completely honest. Greg, you haven't said anything. What do you think about Starfield?
No, I was gonna say, like, the overall, I mean, that's a good sign. If they're gonna boast something like 1,000 planets and they're showing gameplay now, and yeah, it might look a little rough, but it's probably a good sign that the majority of the stuff that they've worked on, the assets, the details and the facial animations, like, the stuff inside the ships, like maybe it's a good sign that the game is either done or close to being done, other than the optimization for it. That's a big, to me, it's a big promise to have such a large scale single player game without like some sort of multiplayer element to it. You know, being able to experience that with friends, or, you know, if you have somebody that you play with, you know, to experience and dissect this massive world, you know. But my concern, you know, I like to hear your guys' different thoughts because everybody has concerns about it. And for me, you know, I don't play Bethesda games. I tried, you know, a little bit of the Outer Worlds, and you know, this does seem like, you know, the change in scenery, you know, being able to go out and explore and just get lost and like explore these planets. But going back to what Mary said, like you're gonna wanna like you're gonna feel like you're missing something if you don't go to every single one. Or you know, like what if there is a weapon on one of them, or you know, something you have to go to planet 775 like to go find like just one specific part, and it's across the, you know, the galaxy, and now you gotta go fly to it, and like your ship
mean,
can't get there unless it's like a certain range or has certain abilities to it. So I don't know. I'm curious.
I'm assuming that throughout the golden path of this game, there's like a select few planets that you're going to visit, and those are going to be the ones that are like obviously the most detailed because they're going to be handcrafted based on like what the story is and all that stuff. Then I'm assuming there's some other planets that are like more the side story stuff, where it's like these ones are pretty good too. There's like random like encounters or events that can happen, and there's like something Elden Ring style like stuff that can go down. But then the other 700 planets or more, it's like, what are these planets going to be? Because over, like, when you say over 1,000, I'm just like, so obviously they're randomly generated. They're not handcrafted. They would have had to build something that was so smart in terms of AI to make it so that every planet is at least somewhat interesting to be on. And I'm not saying that's not possible, because I mean, apparently No Man's Sky is amazing when it comes to the variety of the planets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like no comparison, but like you look at Animal Crossing, like when you go to, you know, another random island that pops in, and you fly to it, and you get, you know, certain, you know, like types of branches or whatever, and like maybe this is the case. You know, you go to some of these planets, and it at least knows to populate, you know, some specific type of a mineral on a, you know, crystal planet or a rock planet or a, you know, like I want to see planets that are like completely underwater, and you're just like, holy shit, this is wild. Like, you know, that's the kind of variety I think that Starfield needs to like keep players like me engaged, is like just something so crazy. Like you go to a planet and it looks like Venus, and you know, all the inhabitants have butts for faces, and you're just like, wow, this is so weird. But like, I do honestly, though, I say that jokingly, but I do hope that they throw in like silly stuff like that. That is
Yeah,
like,
for sure. Like,
you know,
a planet full of like monkeys, and it's just nothing but bananas. Just everywhere.
But like maybe you need that to trade on your pirate trade, and I think that's a dope element, you know, to be able to pick and choose, you know, whether you want to be good, bad, or you know, somewhere you know, exist in the gray area of good and evil in the outskirts of space. But my one big gripe has to be how just dark and just
I just think
drab
it's
the
these
world
planets,
looks.
though.
I don't know. I didn't think that was
we
an
saw other
excellent,
planets
you know,
at the
intro
end.
to it. Yeah. I don't know. I just want like, you know, something in between this and what No Man's Sky is. Like, you know, sometimes it's almost obnoxious to go into, you know, jump into No Man's Sky, and it's just, you know, colors are just an assault on your eyes and your senses. But, you know, maybe space isn't, you know, so dark and desolate as we think it is.
I think right now they're trying to set a tone with like this is a serious space adventure, but I don't doubt that there's some comedic elements to this game when it comes to the randomly generated stuff. Like there's going to be funny planets, there's going to be bright, colorful planets. But I think right now they're like, we're a serious space game. Like let's show the world like this is Starfield. I don't think they want to immediately show us a planet full of butt-faced people yet, you know?
Yeah. But I do think the gunplay, though, the gunplay looks solid to me. That's something that seems like a little bit more, I don't know, on the like I see the Bethesda feel in the movement and the aiming down sight and things like that, but it also feels a little bit more akin to something like Destiny, or just maybe a little bit more action oriented. I don't know what exactly it is about it that's giving me those feels, but
Yeah.
that's just my takeaway from it.
Well, yeah. Final thoughts, because there's a lot of games to go down. I think the game looks really impressive. Like, it looks really ambitious. The 1,000 planets, maybe it'll be like actually done like pretty well. And once again, it seems like a lot of that's optional. Like, you can just play this game, I'm sure, and do the golden path and just play through the main story and just pretend like it's like your just like a traditional campaign, like a story campaign. But it's for all the other people who just want to keep playing this game, just discovering everything they can. So all the planets and stuff, maybe that'll actually work out. But yeah, the spacecraft stuff I really like. The base building seems interesting because it doesn't seem that important as Fallout 4 made it, which I thought they focused too much on that. I didn't really care about it. This seems more like you just build a space station and then you move on to the next planet. John, did you want to say something? You look like you had something.
No, I was just excited to see Brett's face, even though it's frozen. But let's just keep that. Like,
Dude,
I don't even see him yet.
I'm
I
so
do.
sorry, guys.
I see
oh yeah,
him.
yeah.
I don't
it's-
know. I don't
This
know
Brett is
what's
back.
going on. Like every time. So first of all, I'm sorry because I think I messed up like the order on the side of people's names. But dude, so like I was in talking to you guys, and then my screen froze, and I had restarted the entire computer because I got booted completely. Come back in, it would freeze, leave, blah blah blah. Anyways,
Your anguish is
hope-
captured perfectly in that screen that's frozen of you as well. So like, it just works.
Angry man with mustache.
yeah, no. So, anyways, I just wanted to say sorry, but I think I'm back in for the rest of the show, even if it's
Cool.
froze.
Okay, well,
I
we
had-
talked a
I had-
lot about Starfield, but we didn't get...
Yeah.
One last thing about Starfield. Did
30
they mention that?
seconds. 30 seconds.
Did they mention they're going to have any sort of like monetization, like to buy and sell ships, or to buy like specialty ships, or to sell your own
I don't think so.
creations? Can you
No, I
trade
don't
them?
think so. I don't think they talked about any of that yet. I'm assuming that might be a thing one day, but
I
maybe
think a
not.
ship actually just passed us right now.
Yeah, I heard it.
I know there's gonna be ship customization, but I don't know about like the monetization part.
Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe they'll have some type of like community element where you can download other people's designs and stuff. That'd be really cool.
Yes.
You know how many
please.
giant penises there are going to be for the ships?
Not enough.
More than there are planets in the game.
Definitely.
This is my
For
2000
1,000
dick
penis
ship.
ships. Okay, Brett, are you still here? Are you still with us?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, because you're
Cool.
still not on cam for me, but as long as you're here, 30 seconds. What do you think of Starfield before we move on? Finally.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. I was a little underwhelmed with what I saw, just because, and I know you're going to be like, what? But I just felt like from everything I've heard is like the greatest thing of all time. It looks cool. It looks good. I feel like there's a potential they're being too ambitious, and I hope. And I know you already said this, but I hope they don't do the whole No Man's Sky thing and overpromise, underdeliver. But then again, they're not Hello Games. I mean, these guys know their shit and they're good at it. So I'm very much so looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Just hope it's not a
Um,
Fallout 76 situation.
Yeah.
God.
They probably hate that that's on their resume, because apparently like one team down in Texas who's a part of Bethesda technically made that game, and they didn't really act like this team didn't make that game, but it's forever stuck on their resume, which I find kind of hilarious. But
Oh, I was also going to say too, I watched an interview with Todd Howard today, and he said if you mainline the game, it's like 45 hours. So
That's not
perfect.
bad.
There we go.
who's going to mainline this game though? You know, it's going to be like a
Exactly.
90,
It's
100
good-
hour
It's going to be
game,
fun
let's
to
be honest.
explore.
Yeah.
But for those people who just want that, like just that normal campaign story experience, it's still there for those people. That's what I was saying before.
Yeah.
Sure. But I do want to say one more thing. I kept thinking, why do people think these faces look bad? These animations. I'm like, am I the idiot? And then I was like, who can I ask? I sent it to my wife. I said, what face looks better? Like, I sent her a picture of Mary Jane from Spider-Man PS5, the PS5 version, and then the guy from the trailer. And she said the guy from Starfield looks better. And I was like, okay, I'm not crazy. They actually look good to me.
I think the facial animations look fun. They just kind of remind me of Outer World, like that dead face look, a little bit.
Yeah,
It's not that they look
the
graphically that
super
it looks
zoom up.
amazing. Yeah, the
Well-
super zoom up, it's got like that dead look in their eyes still, but
Well, and like I think I read somewhere one time, I'll try and like sum this up, but like the more realistic people try to make like not actual human faces, the more like our brains like no, it's not real. So we start to hone in on like this is not an actual human face, and so we get
That's-
really nitpicky with it. 'cause
Uncanny Valley,
it's like,
That's
Uncanny
how
Valley,
it seems
Uncanny
like.
Valley.
It
Yeah,
seems
the
like there's
Uncanny
Valley
extra
thing, yeah.
criticism. Guys, I literally I was like, what's another recent game that's like similar, like somewhat similar? I went and looked at the NPCs for Dying Light 2. Horribly ugly. Like, where was the criticism for that game? Like,
I think Horizon Forbidden West is probably the best NPCs I've ever seen, but I don't
Yeah.
think they look that much different. You know,
It wasn't
I
really
think they're
just
pretty much on
that.
the same track.
it was in Horizon Forbidden West. It was just how crazy how much mocap they did, even for the side missions. Like
Yeah.
where you're
That's
having a
true.
conversation and they're like walking around the room, they're like leaning on the wall and stuff. And it's like, wow, they did a lot of work for like
Yeah.
for stuff that not a lot of people are actually going to see. But guys, we got to move on. There's so many games.
Yeah, got to move forward.
Okay,
okay,
There's
okay.
a lot, a lot to go through.
Starfield the podcast. All right, guys. Persona is not coming to Switch. It's coming to
Wow.
Xbox and PC and
It-
Steam. Yeah, Xbox,
it
PC.
could be
yeah.
coming. It
And
could be
PlayStation.
What a
coming to
low
Switch.
blow. What a low
Well-
blow. It's not coming to Switch. It's coming to Xbox.
Well, we don't know yet. There's not a Nintendo Direct yet.
Right.
Well,
That is very
that
true.
there was that leaked. And I don't even know if it was leaked. I think it was actually sent out. That actually said PS5, Steam, and Xbox. So you would think that it would have been in that what's it called? That email or whatever.
No, not
But
if they're
no, it
holding it for the show.
Yeah.
Maybe they're holding it, but yeah, but I still think it's weird to.
I think they will. I feel like this is. I mean, you hit too many systems, you have too many people wanting it, and they already know there's a large install base for them to launch something that is going to get purchased right away.
Yeah.
All base.
So I still have hope. Like Atlas can't be that crazy to not put it on Switch, where it will probably literally sell the most that it's ever sold ever. Like Persona 3 will sell more on Switch than it ever did on PS2 probably. But speaking of Persona 3, why the portable version? What are they doing? Why not make a definitive version, or at least give us Fez, where there's actually an overworld and there's cutscenes? I don't care about the combat as much as I care about the presentation when it comes to Persona.
I only played portable, but isn't FES where like you can't even like control your whole party?
You only control your guy.
That's terrible. Nobody
But
wants
dude,
that.
but who wants a point and click game on console? Like what? Persona 3 Portable is it's a dumbed down version in so many ways that offers some enhanced combat. That's basically what it is.
But I mean, like, you could navigate things so much faster with the menu-based version that P3P was. Because I remember playing Golden. There were a lot of times like, man, I keep running down these streets. I wish I could just have the menus from Portable back.
Nah, man, you're crazy. I love running down the streets because there's something that becomes.
I wish I could do both,
nostalgic
really.
about it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be good too. Because like
Yeah.
in games like Danganronpa and Persona 4 Golden, like once you're in an environment for such a long time, it starts to feel like this is like home. You know, like you're like walking around. It's like there's just something so cozy about it.
Yeah.
Which I still felt when I played the P3P. But the main reason why I wanted Fez was because I played all the way through P3P, and I always thought to myself, well, sooner or later they'll bring Fez to consoles, and I'll actually play through that one. But no, they bring this one, the portable version that cuts out a bunch of awesome cutscenes and dialogue, and I don't know about dialogue, but there's some like missing stuff. But
You can be a
Portable
girl
does
in
have
this
a girl,
version. Yeah.
which is cool.
Yeah.
So what did I do after I saw this news? I lost all hope, and I went and I bought P3 Fez on PS3, where I can finally play through it. Because I'm there's no point in playing through Portable again. I already played through that one, but I've been itching to play it again. You know, so I'm like, you know what? I've the glorious PS3 that still has so many games that aren't available on current hardware. But yeah, Brett's gone again for me. Is he gone for you guys?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I
Yep.
won't stick on Persona
He's
too
here in
long.
spirit.
I'm just super happy more people can play this series. I hope it does really well on Game Pass. It's coming to Game Pass on console and PC. And of course, if you have a phone, you can. These games are perfect for phone. Even streaming, like this is a turn-based game. Like definitely play Persona even if you don't have an Xbox. Just play it on your phone because the series is amazing. Wolong, Koei Tecmo releasing a game. It's on all platforms except Switch, and it's coming to Game Pass day one, which I think is really awesome. What do you guys think? And
Looks cool.
It looked cool. I'm interested.
With no gameplay, but looked cool.
I have a feeling this is gonna be like huge, just like how Elden Ring was. Well, not as big as Elden Ring, but like no one expected Elden Ring.
Next Elden Ring, Brett Medlock, 2022.
I think it's gonna end up being like Team Ninja's breakout game. That's like in the Souls genre, because Neo has captured an audience and people love it, but a brand new IP, you got like Microsoft marketing. It's day one on Game Pass. I could picture this being a really big game.
Hopefully.
John, thoughts on Wolong?
Like, it's always nice to see like a new IP succeed, because like there's so many of the big games are just sequels, and I mean at the same time that's also what everybody's buying is the sequels. But like I this is another one of those games where I haven't looked at super closely yet, just because I was like so busy during the conference, like writing and editing like 80 other game articles. But like I don't know, yeah, it looks pretty. Like
Fallen Dynasty. I forgot to write that down.
Yeah.
Apparently, isn't it like Neo and Dynasty Warriors characters in the same universe or something like that? I read something like that.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's like. Well, I don't know if it's like literally Dynasty Warriors, but like I think it could be like that like era of like China. Like it might be like historical based.
Okay.
I'm gonna do some Googling now.
Well, yeah, not much to say about that one for me. I'll try it out because it's going to be on Game Pass. It's probably not one I would have went out and bought. But, Game Pass, so that's cool. Next up, Flintlock. Weird name. Not sure about the name. What'd you guys think of this? Looks like it's an open world-ish action-adventure game in the style of like Horizon Zero Dawn, I would say, but with some different combat elements. You got the double jump. You got the dodge. It looks really cool.
This one looks cooler to me than Wolong.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really get to see gameplay for Wolong, but yeah. I think this one looks pretty dang cool.
Yeah, I liked this one. The only thing that kind of caught, like, I guess, like, what's the right word? I have to criticize, or that, like, I'm being nitpicky with, is, like, the main character's movements. Like, she goes from looking really stiff, and then all of a sudden she's really fluid. I'm like, okay, maybe this is just because it's,
right
like...
there. That flying animation
maybe...
looks great.
Yeah, but like when she was walking and backing up, she just looks like a board. Like she's just super stiff. I'm like, okay, but maybe this isn't like obviously not finalized gameplay. Maybe they're still got some things to tweak. Like so I can look past that, but like that, like I don't know. She just
has
great, like that,
posture.
Off-putting. I guess.
Well,
I'm jealous then.
What if that's an actual woman and they just modeled her and that's just how she happens to move in everyday life?
Yeah, that's her
Maybe.
walk.
That's actually a pretty fair assessment. I mean, that could possibly be it.
I was kidding, but
But yeah, I 100% agree. And in our reaction, I was thinking like there's something about the animations that look a little off, like a little stiff. But then she does that like flying animation. It's like, oh, that looks really good. So that's weird.
Well, so maybe if it's her character. Like we don't know anything about this character yet. What if that is just like how she carries herself?
Yeah.
There's something about her that just seems like stock movement that you would download in like an engine that maybe isn't implementing any type of different animation yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so they took the stock humans motions. That's it then. Just the official stock human motions.
I've downloaded like some engines in the past, and I like played in like their empty worlds, and it just gives you like a little guy that runs around. I'm like, that kind of looks like that guy.
Maybe she's built more like a like a hardened like maybe like warrior tank type, but I think the combat looks like that is my style of combat. Like I don't want just like a sword. I want like like
is dope.
Yeah, like an attack and then like magic and then like like she has like that was it like a pickaxe or something, and then I don't know. It just looks like a couple different like play styles you could possibly have as like a primary weapon, a secondary, and then like magic elements to it. But like I don't know, it just looks like the right formula of combat. My only nitpick would be like, I think kind of similar to Mary, like, if you're that stiff in a walking animation, you can probably bet your ass you're going to get frustrated with the combat if it's the same where, you're locked into some just long, weird, animation where you're like, swinging around and attacking and you can't stop it and you can get hit in that time frame. I didn't really see any parries unless I missed them, but I really hope that's added to it.
Yeah, I'm definitely really curious about all the combat because it looks fun. It looks like how I want the next Fable to be because like you have the melee and then the gun and then like magic elements. That's basically Fable in third person, like real third person, like modern. Because I'm playing through Fable 3 right now, and it's funny how much of it is like fixed camera angles. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, I think that it looks really good. I think this might end up being a pretty special game because it just looks like a nice variety. Nothing crazy, like it's not trying to be this massive open world game that's going to have 1,000 side quests or anything. It looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward, like something like God of War or something.
I think the name's dope, though. I can't believe you didn't like it. Yeah. It's talking about a gun.
I don't know. But
yeah, you don't know.
Yeah. But so let's talk about Redfall. This game, I was pretty interested in it until I saw it, and now I'm not that interested anymore because this is from Arcane. Arcane usually has a very unique art direction that doesn't aim for realism, but it has some cartoony elements to it that look really good and at the end of the day, like Deathloop, like what's that other series that they do, Dishonored. But this game, I don't like the art direction. I think it looks pretty bland. I think a lot of the textures don't look that good. I think this looks like an Xbox One game that came out in like 2014.
Oh my god, I hate you.
Oh, so you're not gonna like me then either.
No, fuck you guys.
So yeah, and these types of games, I'm assuming this one's different because it seems like it's actually story focused, unlike these other games that have been coming out like Back 4 Blood and World War Z, where it's like you read some text, there's the story, now go do this mission with your friends. This actually looks like it has a story, which that's what interests me, and I'm probably gonna play it because it's on Game Pass once again. I'll at least try it out. But Greg, why do you love this game so much?
Go around the room first.
Mary, you seemed anxious.
I am, because like they started. This is what they started the presentation with, right? Like this was because I don't even remember what they started with, but I
think it was this. Yeah,
I tuned out. I got bored. I just kind of went, "Oh, it's Left 4 Dead with a vampire," and immediately just kind of was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go like." Scroll Twitter. I'm gonna go do something else really quick. I got bored.
It's just
man.
They're always brutal. Like, and with this character, you can do this, and then this character will do this while you're doing that. And I'm just thinking, I'm gonna end up playing this alone. Like, I'm not gonna get 4 friends together and play through this. So I need my character to do everything I want him to. But that's probably not gonna happen. John, any thoughts on Redfall?
I think it looks all right. Like, I think I have like the opposite opinions of some of you because I don't know, for some reason Flintlock looks like the most boring thing in the world to me.
Oh yeah, I didn't even get your thoughts on Flintlock.
I like maybe it's not that I hate the name and that it infected my opinion of everything else. I don't know, but it's just I don't know. To me, it just looks like that generic action game number 5. Like I don't know.
Dude, but nowadays. Those games aren't that common nowadays. Like, just generic action game. Like, a story-focused, single-player game is kind of rare nowadays. We're getting Exoprimal instead. And I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Like, just give us a normal game. But, yeah. I get what you mean.
And, I don't know, Redfall, like, I mean, again, like, I'm offering opinions on a bunch of games that I'm probably never going to play anyway. So even if I say something positive, I'm undermining all of it by then being like, oh, but I'm never going to play it. But but I don't know. Like what I saw of it, I thought looked fine. Like there wasn't anything about Redfall that turned me off, which is actually saying something because when it was first announced, I thought it looked completely generic and couldn't care less about it. After
Yeah, I didn't like
seeing the
this.
gameplay, like I thought it at least like looked okay. Okay is an upgrade from I don't care.
Yeah. John thinks it looks okay, and he's never gonna play it.
That's
Brett,
my
are you with us?
big praise.
I am.
Yeah, easier.
I'm just done. My camera is apparently not going to work tonight. So, but I'm just gonna stop messing with that and just hang out with you guys and chat. Um, yeah, I'm kind of with you guys on this. It is. I think it could be like a fun game to just play alone. Like there's elements that I think would be fun about it. But man, for being a game about killing vampires, I think it's just a little too like lighthearted for me. I don't know. But some people are different. Some people love like the goofiness in games, and if I'm gonna play a game about vampires trying to fucking kill me, I don't want like the goofiness and all that involved. But I'm different that way. I like more serious stuff when it comes to games like this. One thing that I am interested in is like the whole vampire thing got huge in movies and TV, but you don't see that many vampire games.
Yeah, that's true.
Period. Like
Besides
which is weird because
Masquerade.
yeah, exactly. Which is
And most
also
of
like
those
just
suck, from
dropped.
what I hear.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so like for all like the like vampires are everywhere on TV and everywhere in movies, and it's funny because like you just don't see that many vampire games. So I think it could be cool. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle with this game.
Greg, any final thoughts before we go into the next game?
Yeah, so like, you know, I the problem with these types of games to get a four-player co-op is consistently finding, four players that will play together. Not only with friends, but I don't know if you guys played Left 4 Dead 1 or 2 before, what was it, Back for Blood?
Hmm.
But like I felt like those had such a wider audience to reach that you could jump into a game. Granted, you were playing the same missions over and over again for the most part, and still be able to link up with somebody that was going to actually pick you up off the ground if you fell down. But I figured out early on, why this game kind of spoke to me, and looks like it could be fun. And I will say there is like humor in Left 4 Dead if you go back and play like Left 4 Dead 2. They're like just the commentary between the characters, but each character having their own abilities, like when they drop down that electricity spike and shocked the player or the vampires, and then the other came in and popped the UV flash that incinerated them. Like I felt like that's like different types of characters with elements that aren't you have to be A, B, and C character. Like you have to have a support, a medic, and so to have this mission be able to complete the mission. But I feel like there's enough variety from the gunplay that I've seen, from the abilities that the characters have, and I really don't mind the visual style that it's in. I think some of the animations, for the vampires, I think it fits like kind of in that Left 4 Dead realm, because it probably is going to have that fast-paced gameplay. But I mean, it's basically, now that I look at it, a different type of Apex Legends with vampires in it, where
Yeah.
everybody has different abilities. And Apex Legends, isn't hardcore like, bro, Call of Duty shooter. It is kind of, but I mean, you know, you, you have quips when you execute an enemy. It can be super brutal at time when you shoot someone in the face or get like a massive headshot and just crack them and drop them. But I don't know. It looks. I like the way that they explained it. The vampires coming back. They blocked out the sun. They retracted the water, and now you're in this like weird place where they're existing and trying to take over. I think that sets it up enough to have a decent story. And the gameplay looks
Yeah,
fun to
for
me.
sure.
Even the sniper stuff and the additional skills, like that's typical of a sniper class to go invisible, go into stealth mode. So it's probably probably because I like multiplayer games that it really does speak to me.
Yeah,
One
for sure.
thing
You're
that I thought was
sorry.
one thing I thought that was kind of cool, not to stay on this too long, is I was there. I watched another interview on this today, and he was saying, I don't think this is anything unique to this game, but not all games allow you to do this. But say you're playing by yourself and you get to a certain mission and you get stuck, and Brett has already beat the game. I can then be like, hey Brett, will you jump into this mission with me? beat the mission, knock it out, he can get off, and then you just progress through the game on your own, which is kind of cool. I like the idea of just having someone jump in for just that part, beat it with you, and then and then you can just play by yourself and continue. Also, if you have 4 people,
like
you
that, right?
yeah, there's yeah, for sure. There's I don't play a lot of games like this, so maybe there's a lot more than I realize. But also you can if all 4 people want to be the same character, you can be. I didn't know if that's what you meant, Greg, when you said
Oh,
like
that's different.
it has to be. Yeah, so he did mention that as well, that if everyone, so you don't have to like force one person to be a medic or force one person to be a sniper. You can all be one character if you want, which that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, that's a departure from like the traditional, 4-player
Mhm.
co-op style because you only get like, someone's like Billy, someone's James, and
Yeah.
someone's Jane, and that's it. So I think that's
Yeah.
kind of cool. You can, but like I don't know, it looks, from where it was first introduced, like what,
I
like
did
2
not
years
think we
ago.
would stay on this that long. I'm sorry.
Oh. No, I'm just
Okay,
saying, like
keep
it
going.
looks like it's made some good progress to be able to show off, multiplayer gameplay and be fleshed out.
Man, Greg, you had so much thoughts on Redfall, and I had no idea. This is good.
You never
Uh,
listened to me.
The truth's coming out.
I did like I expected Redfall topic to be like 2 minutes long, and then we would move on because it was like the one game where I was
We're
like,
very pro vampire household here.
oh, okay. So that's why you never come out in the daytime. All right, let's move on. Let's get to High on Life. This is Justin Roiland, the creator of what's that show? Rick and Morty.
Solar
Not
opposites.
really my
Polar
type of
opposites,
game.
right.
Once again, this looks like once again another co-op shooter that you go through levels with your friends. And is it more than that? Maybe I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it looks graphically it looks pretty impressive. It looks funny.
Yeah.
It looks
I
like
don't
an
know if he was-
acid trip, but okay.
Yeah.
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 Like,
I don't know
your,
if he was
your gun can
joking,
talk
but
to you.
I think Royland said it's also a Metroidvania, but I'm not sure if he was joking or not. Like, I think that's how he introduced it at the extended showcase today.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Is this
But-
like a multiplayer focused game, or is this more like a sandbox game, like a smaller open world type game? I'm not really sure. I
can't tell.
couldn't really get an idea of what it is, but it looks
I think it looks
entertaining.
dope.
There's like a hook shot, so that's all I care about.
I just love that your knife and your gun talk to you while you're using
Yeah.
them.
What's he say? Like, you gotta get the stabby and stab.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks
probably not my kind
entertaining.
of game either, but it could be one of those games that you play for like a weekend and just like kind of laugh and play. But no, I
Yeah.
don't know that I would be too stoked for this one.
The graphics are very nice, at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
graphically, no, you're right. Like the bright
Yeah.
colors, the planets look really cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
And ironically, Brett, for as little as I care about voice acting, I'm minorly excited that 2 of the guys from Red Letter Media, I think, have voice acting roles in this game.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
that's the
Have-
singular point of interest for me.
I just started watching Rick and Morty not that long ago. I'm on like season 2.
I've never seen it
almost done.
actually.
It's pretty good,
haven't.
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
funny. So I know the guy's voice pretty well now, the iconic like Morty voice, and I think he does Rick as well, the same guy.
Okay.
But yeah, this looks like a good Game Pass game to try out and watch. It might end up being really good. Next up, we have Diablo 4. Hang on.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of any of them. How's there 4 of them?
There's 3 other Diablos.
Yeah.
It's the mobile one, right?
Please, I hope it
Yeah.
is.
That's the real one.
Yeah.
You guys
What's-
don't
what's-
have phones?
What's that other game? It's like Planet something. That's what High on Life reminds me of. It's Planet something.
He's brought back High on Life whenever we like what?
Literally, Diablo is not a good topic.
Didn't you say hang on? I thought we were waiting on you.
Oh yeah, I think I'm back, right?
Oh, you're
Okay.
talking about
Yeah.
Journey to the Savage Planet.
Journey to the South. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. That's the one it reminded me of.
I'm
That's
still
fair.
mad about that game because I started it. I downloaded it, and back in the day, you used to have to sign into whoever had Game Pass and download it, but now you can just download it as long as it's set as the home console. But I signed into my friend's account, who I game share with, and I downloaded the game, and I accidentally stayed on his account, and I started that game, and I played like 2 hours, and I was like, this is actually really good. And then I realized I was on his account, and it really pissed me off, so I never played it ever again because I don't want to have to play through it with his name. But anyway, Journey to the Savage Planet was actually pretty good. Everyone should check that out. Diablo 4 for the second time. Is anyone interested in this?
Never heard of it.
Greg?
Still never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Even though I've never played any of the first 3, this looks pretty damn cool. The cinematic trailers are unfair to get excited about. Like, we saw the one a couple of years ago that was like awesome, but it's like, that's so not what the game is actually going to be. So I hate when they show these crazy cinematic trailers and then it ends up being a top-down game. You're like, that's not even close to what the game is. Why are you showing us this trailer? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that always bugs me. Like, they'll show this amazing. They'll show this amazing trailer. Like cinematic trailer, and then it will be like a top-down strategy game or something. You're like, what? Why did you just show me that then?
And that's how I feel about like Japanese RPGs.
I mean,
yeah,
JRPGs show mostly footage, like real footage for trailers, I would say.
Yeah, but I mean,
Like
they have like
Tales.
massive cinematics, and then it's like, ha, attack, and then like that's not indicative of the
those
game.
cinematics
why
are at
did you
least
have to
in the
moan
game.
when you did that?
Attack! That's
When
what
do
they
I
sound
not
like.
moan?
But I think you're crazy. I think you're. I'll use my special. Now, guys, let's get back on topic. Diablo 4 does not look like it's CG, but I don't like when games do this because a lot of games nowadays legitimately look as good as CG, so you can't really do that anymore. Like I don't know. There's just a lot of games that like genuinely look like, wow, that looks amazing. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake, they didn't have to show any CG. The game just looked that good.
For real.
Now,
yeah.
if you're a game that actually has CG cutscenes in the game and the gameplay necessarily isn't like it doesn't reflect that, I would say that's okay. But these people are literally making CG cutscenes just for the trailer. That's not even actually in the game. But it would be fine if like this was a top-down strategy game and you constantly get these CG cutscenes as like part of the story or something. But that's not how it is. They're just hiring these like studios to make these CG cutscenes that don't match anything about their game.
Yeah.
Anyway,
some of the best looking games, like you can't even tell the difference between the cutscenes and the actual graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Like not to be a pony, but like God of War literally didn't have any cutscenes because it's that is just the graphics and it looks amazing.
it's
or
all
like
in engine, yeah.
Or a Breath of the Wild, like even when that like cuts to like a cutscene or something, that's just what the graphics are, you know. So, anyways,
yeah. Sometimes they're like
I do-
pre-rendered a little bit, but it's still utilizing the same graphics set. It's not like
Right.
this crazy jarring difference.
But getting back to Diablo, even like the gameplay we saw, I thought looked cool. It's interesting that this game went open world. I thought that was kind of weird for a Diablo to be open world, but you know,
Yeah, it's
I
like
guess we'll see
the
if
one thing
they
that
can pull it off.
didn't interest me. Like,
Yeah,
I've been like interested in this series for a while, and I've thought about getting Diablo 3 like multiple times. And now I might actually play Diablo 3 instead of this one because I'm not really looking for an open world game with this style of game. I'm looking for more like a dungeon crawler. I mean, I'm sure there's dungeons obviously within Diablo 4, but
It's like
open
the
world
dungeon crawler series.
seems not necessary to go from point A to point B. Like, just take me there. Like, I don't want to have to go like in an open world to get to where I
agree.
need to go.
I like how everybody's
Yeah,
this
no.
critical about Diablo 4 looking like this.
and none of us have
everybody
played them.
Yeah, well,
No one has played
no
it.
one's played them, and then everybody was on fucking the Ascent's dick when it came out.
Dude, the Ascent
and now
was
we're like,
fucking
oh, we don't
awesome.
like that style of game anymore. And it's like, I think this by far better nails the aesthetic, the scale.
Hang on. the Ascent was not received well. That's why I'm confused why you're like.
Are you
what
kidding
were
me? There were
saying.
so many people playing it on Game Pass. It was
Nobody
annoying.
liked it. And I was annoyed because I loved it. I was like,
You-
"What? Are you
I
people
know you
Greg.
did.
I was like,
Greg,
this
the
game
only
is
reason-
gorgeous. It's got great music. I'm not playing it co-op, so I'm not having any technical difficulties. I just enjoyed that game so much. And Brett was about to say the only reason why I like it is because it's an Xbox only game.
No,
Brett?
I wasn't. No. I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna say the only reason so many people are playing that on Game Pass is because there's nothing else to play on it, and
that's just silly. That's just silly. There's so much to play on Game Pass. It's overwhelming.
I'm just kidding.
Man, shut up, Brett. All our cameras work.
It's like when you have a working camera, then you can talk again.
I didn't know what Brett you were talking to, so I was like, what did I do?
You do.
You know what you did.
Oh.
You know what you did.
Yeah, but yeah, The Ascent is underrated. Cannot believe that Metacritic score. You guys are fucking idiots. Now let's skip on to. Actually, you know what? I haven't got to rant about this yet. Drakengard 3. I finally beat it.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was waiting and waiting for it to
Wait,
become
what's next on the list?
this terrible 63 out of 100 on Metacritic. I was just waiting for it to get just absolutely abysmal. And it stayed good the whole time. It stayed good. Drakengard 3 is fantastic. I cannot believe this game sits at a 3 or something on Metacritic. And it's so awesome. It's literally near, but linear levels. Same tone, same writing. Hilarious. I was laughing nonstop. These characters are hilarious. This is a genuinely good game, and everybody should play it if you still play PS3 like me. Or I think it's on PC as well.
The saving grace is the user score is mid 80s, so at least there's that.
Exactly. Like that I rest my case now.
So it's mid.
Yeah.
What?
Huh?
But yeah, it was like super good. We're not gonna do a what we're playing section because there's still so much to get through. We'll do that next week. Now let's talk about Diablo 4. We're pretty much good on that one. Resident Evil 4 Remake, we saw a little bit more of that during the Capcom showcase. Not much new footage, unfortunately. But we did see like a little bit of him walking through the village, and I'm curious, like, where's all the other environments? Like, where's the castle? Where's the island? Hopefully we start seeing that in the marketing at some point.
No,
I
they
hope
were all
that
cut.
won't cut. Do you think the whole game takes place in the village now?
Like
Resident
10
Evil
hours
Village
in that
2.
village. Yeah.
They're gonna do like a Final Fantasy VII remake where they just have 20 hours of one section.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the game's like, it's split up into 3 sections, like the village, the castle, the island. And I'm curious. Like, I hope nothing was cut. Like, I really hope they kept everything.
I can't imagine they would. I
Yeah.
heard someone talking about this the other day. I think it was I can't remember which podcast. I listened to a few. But they were saying that it's so important for Capcom to get this right because of all the Resident Evils, this is the one that is most important out of all of them. And so many people like Brett that it's like their favorite of the series or even their favorite game of all time. It is so important for them to nail this and not mess this up. Stay true to it. I mean, they can make changes here and there, but like you gotta nail this.
For sure.
Brett actually named his children Resident and Evil 4.
Dude, what's funny is if we had another kid, I was gonna name him Leon, which is really funny.
There you go.
No, but
Or
I
if
thought
it was
that,
a girl, Ada.
That I would have loved that, but I think it was gonna be like Chloe or something.
Ada Medlock.
Oh yeah.
No, I thought that was
Actually,
cool.
it
They had
Claire.
that.
It was Claire Redfield. That it was gonna be named after her.
Aw.
Nice.
Oh wait, you're serious about the Leon thing?
Yeah, like I was gonna name my next
Oh,
son
shit.
Leon for sure.
I thought you were kidding about that. That's awesome.
No, like we agreed. Like my wife was okay with it. I was like, awesome.
That is
Well,
awesome. That is
poor
actually
kid.
cool.
Yeah.
Now, what were we just? Oh yeah, Resident Evil 4
Resident
remake.
Evil 4, yeah.
I'm super
I was
excited
gonna-
for this, obviously.
Like,
So
I'm
they-
really
they-
curious. Okay, me. I'm taking control.
I just want to
My
say
show
my
now.
piece.
My show now.
I was like, who's gonna win? After it got silent.
Anyways.
We're
Go ahead, John.
we tied at the intersection. I decided I'm going through. But yeah, I'm curious to see, like, assuming that they retain at least most of the environments that were in the original. Like, I'm curious since they're going for like this more like actual horror tone this time, like what are they gonna do to like recontextualize these areas in like the straight up horror tone? Because like some of like the traps and stuff that you do in the original game are like preposterous and make no sense, and that's kind of a staple of Resident Evil in the first place. But like,
Yeah,
if
I'm
they wanted to
scared
be
they're gonna
like
get rid of that.
serious, then like I'm not sure how they're gonna do some of that.
Like what I'm hoping is if it's a little too much, a little too corny, I'm hoping that instead of just straight up removing it, they think of a good way to mature it a bit. Like instead of a
Right.
giant Salazar chasing after Leon like a robot, maybe like a giant statue of him is falling and Leon's running away from the statue. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that would be a good way to make it a bit more realistic and actually still like pay homage to the original.
If they
Mm,
take out
yeah.
that giant running robot, I'm gonna start a petition to add it back in.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure
Dude,
someone will mod it back in anyways.
Yeah.
they can't take away things like the roller coaster part where you're on the mine cart. Like that was amazing. Like they have to keep all that.
That part stressed me out so bad though.
I love that.
Take that part out. I don't want that part.
And then like
Yeah,
all the
I
boss
hated
fights,
that
like
part.
imagining this remake, like literally, I'm just like, wow, like this is gonna be crazy. Because I don't think I know a game better, like back to back, as I do Resident Evil 4. Like I know it so well. It's like every single little thing that's different. I'd be like, oh my god, that's different. That's the same. It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah,
You know
did
what's
you guys watch
crazy
that
is-
extended look?
that's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they said something like right at the beginning of it. They said like something to the tone of like we carefully crafted or carefully curated the story to include like the most important elements or something to that effect.
It was
And I thought
I have the quote right here, actually. It's carefully preserving what makes the
Mm.
original title special while
Yes.
updating it with modern flourishes for everyone to enjoy.
yeah.
No more flirting for Leon. That's just too offensive now.
but I think that was speaking to the breadths of the world though. That's
Yeah.
saying like, hey, we are preserving the elements to this game that make this game so special for so many people, but also they have like now it's like more so tied to the remakes of 2 and 3 than it is the original series, which I think is really interesting because I think honestly like Capcom lucked out and they did the right thing with the RE engine because it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Pardon
it's
my
a great
French.
engine. I love their engine, like especially for like horror games, because like everything looks like wet, almost like liquid. Like it looks gross and grimy, and it fits so well with. I don't know what I said that was funny, but Greg laughed a lot. Like everything looks grimy and disgusting, and it fits so well with the Resident Evil series. Is it because I said wet?
You said
Yes.
Oh,
Hey,
What?
it's because you have
like
it's because you have
Those are-
because you have children on the podcast is why.
I didn't know that the word wet was really that funny.
it's the
Greg.
way you said it.
I was
Not
saying,
the
it was
word
the way
itself.
you said it. I was also trying not to laugh.
You said like you
Yeah.
licked your lips and
And you
said
paused too.
I
What?
did not.
like everything.
Rewind it.
You said
Rewind.
it
I
with
did
an
not
H.
lick my lip. Everything's very wet.
Assault on the ears.
But yeah, this the game looks good. I'm fully trying to accept that it's going to be a lot different. Like I'm getting there mentally, and I'm starting to get more excited about it because I'm like, it's going to be a lot different. The original still exists, and it's okay. But speaking of remakes, I'm like in heaven right now because Resident Evil 4 is obviously like one of my favorite games. Getting a remake. The Last of Us, despite not needing a remake, is getting like a full makeover in terms of its visuals. So I'm actually pretty excited to replay that because I love that game so much. And then there was another remake. And then Persona 4 being ported. That's like 3 of my top 4 games that I am super excited to play again. Any other thoughts on Resident Evil 4, you guys?
Do you
be
think we'll
good,
still have
or else.
Luis's famous line in there?
A little rough, don't you think? That one, or
Didn't he make a comment about? Ashley's.
They've equipped his daughter with ballistics.
Yes. Do you think? I think that might be. I think that might be. I think that might be a little much these days. It's going to offend.
You can't hit on women nowadays, Brett. It's just too much. It's too much.
I, for one, hope they keep flirty Leon, but that's just me.
Yeah, like
So-
I was for a TikTok, I was downloading Leon's best quotes, and there was stuff that I would usually skip, like through like the FaceTime of like cutscenes where they're talking. But I was watching some, and I'm like, everything he says is basically flirting in this game. Like just the way he says it, he's like, "Yeah, I think I will," and I'm like, "What are you doing, Leon?"
He's just so cool.
Yeah. Like, did you miss me? Talking to Hannigan.
It's the hair in the dump truck he's carrying.
Dump truck.
But I do like though that they're keeping the same release schedule because all the other Resident Evils released in spring, just like
it's
this.
in winter, right? It's coming in
No,
March.
This is
Yeah.
coming in March.
Yeah, March.
That's winter, right?
I
Or
think
is
it's
it-
the 24th.
when does
24th?
winter end?
When spring
Probably
starts.
before that.
I know, but like what month? Obviously.
Okay,
But it's
June
not
20
wet
June
outside anymore?
21st is when spring 2023 starts.
Okay, so they're coming in winter, Greg.
Oh, we
The word
really
you're
wanna
looking for
I
is
mean,
winter.
It's a month
I'm sorry.
away. It's
I
still
misspoke.
March.
I meant March 21st. Yeah.
all the other ones were January, so you're wrong again.
It's still in the first part of the year.
Yeah, winter.
Wait,
You won.
All right, Resident Evil 4. Sonic Frontiers, we've talked this game to death. We can just skip this one.
I'm sure you have plenty more great things to say about it.
We
You
haven't
know
really
what?
learned.
I have my criticisms. I'm not going to
Do
act
you?
like the combat looks amazing. It doesn't look that amazing,
Do
but I
you?
like everything else. I like that it's an open world. I like that there's puzzles. You know what? Let's just move on. The Callisto Protocol. Horror is coming in hard with a lot of these games. Like, this game looks amazing, in my opinion. It's
Hard
basically Dead
and
Space.
wet.
It looks very wet. Definitely.
Getting
Graphically,
wet
this game
space.
looks insane. The death animations actually
This game
remind me
looks
of Resident Evil 4.
Incredible.
They're so
Capcom's
beautiful.
going to end up cutting all of their awesome death animations because they are very into cutting content, but they're going all in on these death animations. So it looks really awesome. Any thoughts, Mary?
I sorry, Mary, you go ahead.
Is your name Mary? I'm just kidding.
I don't know. Spooky games, like I've gotten braver. Resident Evil is about as like spooky as I can tolerate, but this looks like too dark, too atmospheric, too many jump scares. That and like I don't know. I feel bad because I'm kind of like there's too many like just squishy horror games that were shown, and I was kind of over it at a certain point. So
That's
Funny, Mary.
surprising. I thought this would have been a game that you were interested in.
I would have thought this would be a Mary game too.
Really?
For sure. I mean, looking at your red hair, I just thought this is a game Mary would like.
Nope. No, I'm a giant weenie. I can't even play Phasmophobia. I get too scared. So
I just thought you were a bit of a badass, so you'd play all the horror games.
I can. You know what? Leon carries me through Resident Evil games. If they added Leon to this, maybe I'd be able to play it.
Leon be hitting on all
Leon, I'm having trouble.
Leon, help me!
Give us a line, Brett.
Don't worry, Mary. I'm coming for you.
With an emphasis on coming.
Oh my God,
Whoa.
Brett! Don't worry, Mary. I'm coming on you.
What are we doing to this family podcast?
Yeah.
Family show.
There's children listening. You guys are bad people.
Okay, next up.
Wait, I had
Let's see.
one more thing to say on it.
Okay.
An actual thing to say on it. I think the only part that bugs me, it looks too much like
It does,
like,
a little too
Dead
much.
Space.
I
Like
agree.
the
I
neck
agree.
thing, I didn't like that they did that. Like pick
The
something else.
stopping is the same as Dead Space.
Yeah, come on.
Well, yeah.
Like-
So I heard someone
Go
saying they're like, this game looks brutal. Like when someone's on the ground, you can stomp on their head. I'm like, have you never played Dead Space? Like that's like a direct ripoff of Dead Space. And I hate to call it a ripoff because it's the same guy that made Dead Space. But like,
Yeah.
That gives you a license to just do whatever.
Yeah.
Right, like it's there's a couple things, and dude, believe me, I am so in on this game. But there's a couple things that are just like a direct rip off of the
Greg.
Dead Space. Like you
Dead
said,
Space
like you
did
said,
come out in 2008, so I mean, they probably didn't play Dead Space 1.
well, for sure. But I mean, like, there's a couple things like you said, the light on the neck, and like the reticle is like a horizontal line. Like, where else do you see
Yeah.
that? And like stomping on people's heads, like those are complete Dead Space pullovers. So
I mean,
but,
it
dude, I
seems
can't
like
wait for this. This is incredible. This looks awesome.
I feel like in his mind, what's his name? Glenn Schofield, is that his name?
Schofield, yeah.
I feel like he's thinking, I always wanted to make another Dead Space game, and then
Yeah.
EA shut down Visceral, so he's like, well, I guess I'm gonna go make another Dead Space game somewhere else because that's what his passion
Yeah.
is. So yeah, that's basically what he's doing. He's just making Dead Space 4 just with a different name, while EA's remaking Dead Space 1.
He like amped up the horror too, because like Dead Space was scary, but like the enemies in this look, even for me, like it's hard to scare me. They look fucking horrifying. dude.
Terrifying. Yep.
Yeah.
Put that in PSVR too.
Yeah,
Isn't this technically this studio's first game?
yeah, it is.
Yeah,
That's crazy. And this is
and they're
being
making it
published
with
by
PUBG money.
Corp. Yeah. Shout, man,
That's
I mean,
sweet PUBG money.
good for the
Even though
PUBG
it's not
company
even-
that was willing
Yeah.
to go from a battle royale to funding a game like this. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome. I did not expect
Yeah,
that.
That's cool.
And it's already like completed. Like the game is done. Like this was thought of a long time ago.
I'm glad they went away from the it's based in a PUBG universe, because that never made sense to me. Like, so what's going to happen
Yeah.
when at the end of the game when you escape this
You
ship
fall out of
or
a
whatever
plane.
you're in?
Yeah.
You just walk out. You walk out into the real world, and there's just a bunch of people with pans and underwear hitting each other. Like, what the hell is going on?
Walked out of one freaking horror world to the next. But yeah, I think it looks amazing. Probably one of my most anticipated games, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
And
Me too.
this next game, they showed off the campaign finally for Modern Warfare 2, the second Modern Warfare. I thought it was a really good showing of the game. I think like visually it looks pretty impressive. I don't know if it's like there was something about Modern Warfare 2019 that graphically looked like a huge step up over all the other
Way
ones.
better.
And it came
Agreed.
out on PS4 and Xbox One and somehow still looks better than the latest game in the series. Not saying this game
Yeah.
looks bad, but that game just looked insane. Like it was like they had a way bigger budget and everything for the campaign, but this still looks really good. Obviously, like it's gonna have better performance on the new consoles and whatnot than 2019, but I remember that had good performance as well. Anyway, I like this game. John, you don't care about this series, right?
Got that right, bud.
Greg,
But-
how about you? Oh.
Well, but I will add that the water effects look really cool. I will give them
They
that.
shouted out the water
I
effects
think-
specifically.
Mhm.
They're like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
have new water tech." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah. But I linked as it was going on, I linked the event to my friend because Call of Duty is like one of the only games he still plays, and it's not even that he even really loves Call of Duty. It's just that like that's the first person shooter to play. And I showed it to
Yeah.
him, and he's like, "Yeah, that looks lame." So there you go.
really?"
Yeah.
Really?
I
thought
like
this was like
the showing, like the actual like mission they showed. Like I had headphones in. I was really
Yeah.
impressed with the sound design. Like you could hear the clinking of their feet on the metal. I was like, wow, that sounds really good. And then the combat looked like Call of Duty, but it still like looked very real and visceral. You know?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, like, as someone who hasn't played a Call of Duty game in a while, I just don't have much interest in the series anymore. Like, watching this, I was like, okay, this looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'm gonna pick the series back up, but I was like, but this looks like one of the better Call of Duties, like that they've like in recent years, I guess. And I liked when they
Yeah.
were showing like when you were on the boat and like how things like shift. I was like, okay, like
Yes. Yep.
that's something that's really cool. Like you kind of have to adapt to like the weights of like these giant containers like shifting. So like you're in cover, you're out of cover. So I thought that was like really cool, a nice little detail.
Nope.
Yeah. Infinity Ward, the main studio on this one, they're my favorite Call of Duty developer. The past two games they've made have been my favorites in the series, like my top two. which were the Modern Warfare 2019 campaign, and then Infinite Warfare. That campaign was amazing, despite all the hate that year. Because everyone was so over space shooters, and now we need them desperately because things are getting boring again.
I was not expecting to walk away from was it Summer Games Fest? Yeah, that's when it was shown. I was not expecting to walk away from the Summer Games Fest as this is like being that high on this game. I'm with you. I think Infinity Ward is great, but it really impressed me. And like you guys both already pointed out, John and Mary, the two different things. Like the water effects look awesome. And like that part when you're walking and the water, like the wave crashes into the side of the boat and it sends the sends the enemies like flying, and like that looks really, really cool.
Mhm.
And then like she said, like the weight is shifting on the boat from one side to another. Like that scene looked awesome. And other than like the bro factor of Call of Duty, I thought everything else looked really. I'm actually, at least for the campaign, really interested in that game.
Yeah.
It looks dope. I like Call of Duty. I always like Call of Duty, but I think they just really need to figure out a better business model. I mean, if they should honestly just have a subscription service that you pay, a decent amount of money and you get, kind of like the battle pass, you get stuff through Modern Warfare throughout the year, but then like as new games come out, maybe you get it for free, or, if it's not going to be on Game Pass or whatever. Because I think there's
It'll be one day.
I just feel like there's like too many Call of Duties always at once that you have the option to play, and nothing really carries over between each game. And sometimes, you can unlock stuff for Warzone, but it's just like really like you got Black Ops, Modern Warfare, then you have Warzone, Vanguard, then you have World War II.
Cold War.
And like World War II is still, relevant, and it might be a couple years old, but like I don't know. I just feel like they need to make a decision on where the multiplayers are heading without being so like am I like sometimes like I was re-downloading Call of Duties and I was like, I don't even remember which one's the most recent out of the ones that I'm downloading that I purchased, and I was like, was it Cold War? I was like, maybe it was the other one, and I was like, whatever, I'll just play Warzone.
Is it Vanguard? Is that the last one?
There's the Cold War.
No, Vanguard.
Sorry, Cold War.
See?
I was
exactly what I mean. Like, I wish there was just a better way to experience Call of Duty than buying it for $60 every time it comes out.
Game Pass.
I'll tell you right now why they don't, though, is it's the number one selling game every year. So they're like,
right.
I'm sure they have these conversations too, but they're like, why would we change when we could put out like a very mediocre
but
game
that's why
it's still gonna.
That's why a lot of companies, bank on subscription services for, generating revenue, because the majority of the time, would you rather get $60 one time a year or get, $80 spread throughout the year? And that's not to mention the people. I mean, I've heard this concept talked in business talks where, they bank on people forgetting that they even have a subscription service and still getting a continuous flow of money.
Yeah, that's probably most subscription businesses. That's what they bank on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it'd be
one of the
cool.
guilty ones. I did that too.
Yeah. I think it would be really cool, since if this deal goes through with Activision Blizzard, probably all the Call of Duties will join Game Pass. You'll have a huge list of every Call of Duty game in your library. I think it'd be cool if they somehow did like community involved stuff where they were like, this week we're doing a special event in Advanced Warfare. And since everyone has access to it, everyone goes back and plays Advanced Warfare together. Or like Black Ops 2, like the 360 one, since those should be on there as well. I think it'd be cool to implement all of your history and use Game Pass as a way to get people to download all those games. But they're not going to do that. They're going to always focus on the newest and greatest thing.
Yeah, I remember Barstool Sports was doing like this thing where they kept hyping up like, everybody get on at this time. We're going to play, Modern Warfare. And we're jumping back in and our servers are back up. And like, that's the kind of excitement these kind of franchises need, because they span multiple generations and the gameplay is still fresh. The concepts are still utilized in modern games. So, why not take advantage of that and bring in a massive amount of players? Maybe it's only for a couple months, but like, if you have enough specialized events, I feel like it could be fruitful.
Yeah, like it would be cool if if they were like in Black Ops 2, the 360 one that's available to download on Xbox One, if it's on Game Pass, and they're like, if you play Black Ops 2 this weekend and get like this amount of kills, you unlock this in the new game. So, but you have to go back and download that old game and do like something like within the missions or within the matches online, and then if you unlock it, then you go to the latest game, Modern Warfare 2 or whatever, and you have like a brand new gun or something. Like I think it'd be cool to do that kind of stuff. Like use your history of games that you have.
Think about how many times you've done that for Nintendo missions to get platinum coins. Like I know I have. Shit, I almost ordered a cake from Cold Stone just to get whatever it was, like a couple. I forget. It was like you, or it wasn't Cold Stone. It was like some other ice cream place where you had to like order the Mario cake and then like get the code. And then I think I was trying to get the limited edition pin set, and I ended up doing something else to get it. But I was just like, I was willing to do that just to get, the pin set.
That's funny. You said I ended up doing something else to get it. I'm like, did Greg kill a man for that pin set?
Probably.
That's what Facebook Marketplace is for.
Killing people for pen sets. Let's see what's next on. Let's see. Witchfire. This is a first-person, like Bloodborne looking, like in terms of the environments, not the actual gameplay, but a first-person like game where you have magic and abilities. And this got revealed like 5 years ago at the Game Awards or something like that. And I thought it looked really cool back then. I was excited to play it, and then it disappeared for so long, and it's finally back. And I think it looks still pretty cool. I thought some of the sound design was weird with the weapons. I thought they sounded really weak, not much impact. Same with Fallout, to be honest. But I mean not Fallout, Starfield. I don't know why I said Fallout. I think it still looks pretty good. Witchfire. I'm excited for this one. Did they say if it was on Game Pass? Or no, it's only PC right now. Maybe PC Game Pass.
I hope it comes
Why
to
was
PC
this
Game Pass.
Was this at the Xbox show or the Summer Game Fest?
Maybe it was at the Epic Game Store show.
It was at Summer Game Fest. Okay, so this isn't like
Okay.
Xbox associated. So yeah, this is coming to early access on PC only at first. So Greg, you're gonna have to let me know how it is.
Will do. It looks dope. I like the movement in it. It reminds me of a very Doom feeling.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks like a lot like Doom.
Yeah, what's
Apparently it's a
surprising?
roguelite.
What's surprising about this
Really?
game is that it's from the people who made The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, the story game.
What the
Along
hell?
with, they teamed up with People Can Fly, the studio behind like Gears, Judgment, and that other series that I'm forgetting the name of. Like they do shooters. So a story team. Yeah, Bulletstorm. A story team and a first-person shooter team just combined forces and made this game. I'm like, that's really cool. So yeah, maybe it'll be a big hit. Next up, Routine. This is looks like a smaller horror game looks pretty damn creepy. It's gonna be on Game Pass. I think it's coming out, or is it later this year or early next year? Or maybe they don't have a release date. This one looked really interesting. The sound design once again stood out to me because like the character was walking down some stairs and like accidentally like ran into some stuff, and the way like you hear it like knock on the floor and stuff, that was really cool. But I saw some people say that was a CG scene. I thought it was gameplay based on like the gun disappearing when he stopped using it.
I thought it was
Yeah.
gameplay
It
too.
looked
Yeah,
like gameplay to me. I don't know.
It was actually Sean RGT85. He was in the chat earlier. Maybe he's the dumbass who said that this was CG.
That
because
bozo.
that total bozo. Eric, can you play
Maybe,
Routine on the screen?
I don't know. I
Hold
think
on.
Sean has a
There
pretty
is.
good. I think he has a pretty good eye for catching stuff like that. I mean, there's always something in his videos that I pick up, like, oh yeah, I didn't really pay attention to that.
I mean,
But-
it could be like the party shown right now looks like it could be. That's not
Yeah.
gameplay, of course.
This part was the part where they never specified because usually at like the bottom they'll put not actual gameplay or something like that, but they didn't put anything from what I saw. So I thought this was gameplay.
Yeah, I thought
and
this
This part
I'm
looked
with
like
you.
it was, yeah.
And I
thought
was
it
really
too,
impressed.
'cause he pulls out the
Because-
gun. Usually,
Yeah, look,
usually in
now
a
watch
game,
the
if a character pulls out a gun and puts it away, that's like the start of the next section, you know. So I thought it was, but I don't know.
Cassette
Regardless, gameplay or not, I thought this is one of the games that caught my eye the most. I love this kind of game, like creepy, atmospheric game. It almost had
I
like
think it's great.
like
Reminded me of Alien Isolation.
Alien
Yeah.
Isolation. It had like for some reason like the part when you're in like the office, it had like a Severance feel to it, like a creepy like
Mm.
a mystery feel to it, like you don't know where the hell you are, like a backrooms kind of situation.
Yeah.
The
So I
game,
think that looks amazing. I can't wait for this.
from what I understand, the game actually got revealed like 5 years ago once again, and it
Well,
disappeared
did
for
it
a really
really?
long time.
No, I think the game was
What?
announced like around a decade ago.
Oh, 10
Oh,
years ago.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
this game is coming from like Mick Gordon, the dude who composed the last two Doom games. He's been like working on this with some people, I guess, for like around a decade, and now this is
Huh.
them. That's why it's called the re-reveal game trailer, because like they're it's
It's
like
been so
raising it
damn
up and
long.
like
People
it
forgot
exists
it was even a
again.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
what we're seeing now is
huh.
like the old stuff, like from a
Oh.
decade ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is yeah, exactly. This is I haven't seen this. So
Yeah, I
cool.
haven't seen it either, but yeah.
Did we get a date on this? I don't remember seeing a date. I don't think we have yet, huh?
I thought there
Um,
was like a was it Q1 or
no,
something?
no, just no release window.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
A
Great, we'll see
decade
you in 10
later, we
years.
still have no release window. I'm looking
I
forward
was
to playing this in 2030.
I was surprised that this one wasn't at the Xbox show, considering it's a Game Pass game. Really strange, but
Oh yeah, you're
I
right.
I also was surprised that the Stalker 2 stuff that they did today that was super emotional and impactful was not in the real show. It was at the extended show. And I'm like, man, that could have made your showcase better, not because it's a good thing, but it could have like opened people's eyes to what's actually happening in the real world, which was pretty crazy with what's going on with the Stalker developer. Did I say Stalker last time? I feel like I did. But yeah, that's actually on the list too. Stalker is, so let's just skip to Stalker. Oh, it's not on the list. Never
It's
mind.
not on the list. Yeah.
I say not on the list. Can't talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was our
next.
stalker
Yeah.
segment.
Next.
I'm really excited for that game. It got pushed to next year, understandably, because they are getting attacked. If there's a freaking war going on in Ukraine, so that's
Oh, yeah.
just ridiculous. Now let's skip to Layers of Fears. Brett Larson, take it away. You're the biggest Layers of Fear fan I ever met. And he's frozen on my end. Is he gone?
Mhm.
He's gone.
No.
This is your moment, man.
He lost his moment.
But
You only
let's
get
just
one
stop it.
shot.
He's speechless.
Let's just
Yeah.
stop and appreciate how amazing his thoughts would be if we could hear them.
Yeah, I'm sure he would go on and on. I'd have to text him and be like, wrap it up, wrap it up. Okay, we'll skip that for now. The Last of Us Part 1 got revealed. This happened during the Jeff Keighley show. I was surprised that this was the ending
Happened several
thing.
hours before that.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
It got leaked.
Oopsie daisy.
This seems extremely unnecessary, but it is one of the best games of all time, so why not give it a fresh coat of paint and make it match The Last of Us 2, which I'm assuming is getting an official PS5 release very soon. So yeah, The Last of Us Part 1. Any thoughts, Mary?
I feel bad because I love The Last of Us, disclaimer. I love both games so much, but all I could think about was like, I don't think it needs a remake. I think it's held up very good. I think it still looks very good. And then I was thinking like, mainly what resources were they putting into this ground up full remake that could have been spent somewhere else? But also
Exactly.
while they were talking about it, Neil mentioned like because of how successful and how large the fan base and the games have done so well, that they have all these extra people, they have extra resources. So I'm like, okay, but still, what could you have been doing? What else could you have been doing?
I mean, I think they just want to keep the Last of Us name around. They got the TV show coming, so that boosted like The Witcher's sales so much. So they probably saw that and they're like, you know what? Let's just remaster our remaster and make it known to the world.
But a ground up remake.
And then they also have the multiplayer coming, and I'm sure they'll have like the package of all three games, because apparently the multiplayer is going to have some type of story involved, which is so interesting.
They're claiming it'll be like, I guess content wise, like as large a game as the other games, even though it's a multiplayer game.
Yeah, I mean, I pictured I pictured them doing something like this because with The Last of Us 1 multiplayer, you actually signed into your Facebook, and
Ew.
as you collected people for your little colony thing, it would be like your Facebook friends. Like it would say Greg Vargas has just died and stuff like that. It was pretty good, like the multiplayer. And I was thinking, like, man, it'd be cool if they did something like that, but with actual characters that they could develop outside of the multiplayer, like with cutscenes and stuff.
I'm
So
just
yeah,
like,
I mean, I think
who
it could
are they?
work.
Bethesda? You know, they figured out how to sell you a game, the same game 3 times.
Yep,
Seriously.
basically.
I mean,
$70.
like,
The multiplayer is not included, and there's no
Yeah.
discount if you already own the game
See,
twice.
it's like, so
Oh wait,
when I
this
first
remake doesn't have multiplayer?
Nope.
No.
Oh my god.
no,
Because they want
factions
the
is
multiplayer
still
to-
yet to be. Yeah, factions is still yet to actually even be shown off yet, and that originally when they did The Last of Us 2, that correct me if I'm wrong, but that was supposed to come with The Last of Us 2, and then they ended
Yeah.
up just launching the game and said, okay, well this will come after, and here we are a year and a half, over a
2
year and a
years
half
ago.
later, and still, yeah. So
It's like I played the original Last of Us and I had a game-breaking bug at the end. Then I replayed it with the remake. I'm not going to replay it again.
This is one of my
I'm
favorite
definitely
games
going
ever.
to, like, So it is my favorite game of all time, and even for me, I was saying especially when I first heard it was rumored that they're going to be remaking this, I was like, why? You know, like
Mhm.
Exactly.
it
I still
completely
feel
put,
that way.
completely yeah, it completely pushed the boundaries of the PS3 era at that point, and still looks as good as most PS4 games. Like that was
Yeah.
very unnecessary.
Mhm.
But when I see the remake and when they do like the side by side, it is pretty cool to see how much better it looks than the PS3. Like when you actually see like Ellie's face arguing and then it like goes over to the PS5 remake, it's like, damn, that is pretty impressive. Or like the part where he's on his back and the clicker's on top of him, seeing the difference between the PS3 and the remake version is pretty amazing. That being said, I still don't think it needs. It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like Mary said,
I think
what
that's
could
how
they have
everyone
been
feels, like,
doing?
it
What could
doesn't
they have
need
been
it.
doing this whole time if they weren't working on this? Now, that being said, I'm sure they have a majority of the team working on their next project and,
Mhm.
X amount of people working on this. But like Brett said, I'm 90% sure this is all done to keep like the Last of Us name relevant. They're going to be banking on the HBO show. And how many people are going to watch the show on HBO and be like, dude, this show is really cool. It was a game first. I'm going to go look for it and then see a brand new, like The Last of Us remake. And then that person's going to go buy the game. And then there's going to be the multiplayer coming out. And like The Last of Us is just all over the place.
Yeah, it's like they
Yeah,
wanted to
like-
play the best version of the game possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they know people are gonna be like, oh, this like Last of Us TV show. I'm gonna go play the game. And yeah, The Last of Us in many ways looks great still, especially the animations, the facial animations still look better than most games nowadays. But a lot of it obviously looks like a PS3 game that's like running at a high resolution on
For
PS4
sure.
and PS5.
For sure.
So I get why they did it. Like if you think about it, they have The Last of Us Part 1, The Last of Us multiplayer, The Last of Us TV show, and The Last of Us Part 2 PS5 version that they're going to release. It's going to be like a $10 upgrade for people who own it and then $70 for people who don't, obviously.
All in a 2-year span.
Maybe no.
Yeah.
What?
I said all that in like a 2.5-year span. So like between the
Yeah,
Last of Us
so
2, then
they're
the
going
remake,
hard on-
then the multiplayer, then the show.
I always
They're
wonder
going
if
hard
it's
on
like
the IP, for sure.
I always wonder if this is like, they started to do this to test, the multiplayer in an environment that was, still included the same assets and, some of the same engine. And they said, hey, this probably wouldn't take too much more to, start working on the rest of the game. And, like, come on, like, there's no reason to do this. And
No. Like the game still looks good and it's like really good in a lot of spots. The original game, like I'm like, wow, this looks great for like a 2013 PS3 game.
I just thought
But
I thought it was crazy
that
that Neil. Sorry, Brett, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
Good.
No, I was just gonna say that I thought it was crazy that Neil Druckmann's up there talking about this game, and they've been promising us factions for how long, and even after all that time that they've been working on factions, all we get is concept art. Like, you don't even have anything to show us. We just saw concept art. That's it. Like, are you serious? Like,
And it was
come
only the one
on.
piece of concept art. It wasn't two.
Yeah, it was like exactly. It was like one like picture of concept art, which okay, great, but that's all we get 2 years after it was supposed to come out.
Too busy
I heard that at
working
one
on the
of
remake.
Yep.
RGT's videos. He was like, "You brought concept art," and I was like,
Yeah.
"How do you bring concept art to a major presentation?"
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
that's
silly.
crazy.
They should have just said like a little like we'll have news like later this year for The Last of Us multiplayer. Sorry it took so long, and then that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then like post it on Twitter the concept art.
yeah.
But
Or had it in the background where they talked.
yeah, exactly. Do that. But yeah, like it is pretty crazy how much they did this remake. There are some artistic changes that I'm not that big a fan of. That like random changes they made in the environments. And then like sometimes like the lighting that's on the characters doesn't flatter them as well as like the original cutscene did. I noticed that a few times in the comparison shots I saw. But aside from that, like the game looks amazing. This looks like a PS5 game now. Like this looks incredible for a game that used to be a PS3 game, but totally unnecessary. Now let's move on.
Yeah.
Brett, you
Yeah.
were gone for Layers of Fears. Quick thoughts on that since we're running long this episode.
You already know that this is like I'm all in on this game. I played Layers of Fear 1 and 2 late last year. I was just kind of in the mood for a horror game and was just searching online, and I came across Layers of Fear, and I kept seeing them over and over. So I was like, I'm going to try these games, and loved both of them. So I'm really stoked. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah. I'm a Bloober team believer. A blue lieber. A believer. Something like that. I have faith in this team after what's it called? What was that game?
Medium?
Yeah, I
Medium?
liked the medium, and I liked Blair Witch. So I'm like, you know what? This team's got some talent. They just need more people. They need to focus on combat in one of their games. And I'm assuming this game is like their last game before their next like huge one, which is rumored to be Silent Hill.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm still holding out hope that the rumor of them doing the next Silent Hill is real. Because even though like when this came out that they were doing this, everyone's like, oh, they're not doing Silent Hill, but that's not necessarily true. The rumor's always been that Bloober's working on 2 games, so it's still possible.
Did the trailer for this game show any combat? Because they specifically hired combat people, like people who make combat.
Really? Because there's in the first 2 Layers of Fear, there's not really combat.
That's what I'm saying. There might not be combat in this one either, which is why I'm saying there's probably for Silent
I see what
Hill.
you're saying. Yeah. I mean, it would kind of have to be, unless they vastly change this game, which I doubt they would.
Now, lastly, what do you think about Layers of Fears? Because I hate that. The name.
Yeah, that bugs me. When you first said that, I thought like my thing was skipping because you're like, lastly, what do you think about Layers? And I was like, he just asked me that. Yeah, I don't love the title. Yeah, the title I didn't not so big on, but
yeah, me either. It just reminds me of Demon's Souls. Hate it.
Yeah.
Or
I didn't even realize it was
Flintlock.
Layers of Fears until like you actually like said it. I thought it was just
That's
called
funny.
Layers of Fear again, because like that's the
Yeah.
whole thing now, to just name the reboot the same name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those things where if someone doesn't know any better, they're going to go to the PS store or wherever and type in Layers of Fear and see the original and think that that's the new game and be like, oh, cool, it's only
What were they
it's only
thinking?
$12.
What do you think when they go type in Call of Duty? There's like, oh, I should buy all 17 of these.
But at least Call of
okay,
Duty has at least Call of Duty has
There are
like,
many
the next part
layers.
after it, the Vanguard.
Yeah,
the
Call of Duty has
or the
different
Cold
names
War, you
for
know?
sure.
Right. It's
Yeah.
weird, but
Last that I had on the list that I added last second because of Brett. Me and him are really looking forward to this one. A Plaguetale Requiem. This is the sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence, a super underrated and game that I hope did pretty decent at the end of the day. I think it might have like captivated a small audience. And I'm hoping that this sequel just makes the series even better because this one looks awesome. Like she's going all in on killing people. It's way more like combat focused. I did not expect that. Yeah. The title of the original made a lot of sense. Like Innocence. Like she was a normal person who hadn't killed, and then she was forced to live this life where she started killing people, but it never got to the point of like this crazy action game. But this one, she's got a crossbow, she's stabbing people's throats, and the previews have been really positive. So I'm looking
love
forward
the
to it.
throat
Yeah,
stabbing.
looked good.
No,
early
I'm
on,
all
too.
in on this too.
Yeah,
Yep.
this is what's the name of the studio? They did Flight Sim as well. They are very versatile in their development.
They did Flight Sim?
Yeah, what's their names?
didn't realize
though?
Are you Asobo?
Yeah, I think so. Oh yeah, Asobo. They do Flight Sim and Plaguetale. Like
Weird.
what the hell?
I did not know that they were the flight simulator people.
I didn't
Yeah.
either. That's a pretty big
wonder
jump
how, like,
from one genre.
I wonder, like,
Yeah.
the bleed over, like, if they have, like, very strict sides, like, we're the Flight Sim people, we're the Plaguetale people. I can't imagine there's that
Right.
much bleed over between those developers.
I don't know. Maybe
they're
they use
making-
similar
you go-
engines.
You going
Maybe.
into an office and they're like, "No, you're on the Flight Sim side. Get over there. You guys are
Yeah.
over on this side."
You guys are nerds. We actually make good games. You just make simulators.
we make throat stabby games.
Exactly. But yeah, the whole vision of the original Plague Tale was very interesting and bold. Like a game that's a lot of walking, a lot of story, with a very small amount of combat and stealth elements. It just seemed different for that reason alone.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
this one is
I
leaning more
was-
into the combat and stuff, but I think that's a good thing.
Mhm.
What?
I wonder how much it's going to evolve into the combat side of things, because I thought, for me, even though I love games that's all about combat and gameplay, part of what I loved about the original game was like figuring out how to get through one side of the village to the other without being noticed, and like almost kind of turned into a puzzle game, because you're in like the woods and you've got to get you and your brother to this side, and you got to use a light, but you can't use the light by these over here, or else you're going to be seen. And like I said, it almost kind of turned into a puzzle game that way.
Yeah, especially with
so
like the rats.
I
and
can't
stuff,
imagine.
all the
Yeah, exactly, and then the rats are mixed in there. So I can't imagine they're going to ruin it or anything, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, really looking forward to that one. And I think that's about it. Do you guys have any other games you want to talk about before we head out? Sorry for the long time I kept you all.
Got one.
Did John get to do his shout out?
I know
Oh yeah,
has
John,
one.
shout out. Go
There he
ahead,
is.
John.
Yeah, I got to break a news thing last night that PlayStation messed up again. They accidentally leaked that Tactics Ogre Reborn is a real thing, then it's gonna come out on some sort of PlayStation platform. So it didn't have any actual gameplay details, but it had like this really cool promotional art and the icon for like when it ends up like on your PlayStation. And the art, it had characters from like the original Tactics Ogre. So this is like almost definitely like another remake or another remaster. And Square trademarked this game back in like March in Japan, so we knew they were working on something, but there was always that danger it could just be like another mobile thing. So it's pretty exciting to know that it's like an actual console thing, even if it ends up being like just another remake. But
Yeah.
Tactics Ogre is like, it probably has one of the best stories ever seen in a video game. Like, it's worth playing even just for the story, and the gameplay is fantastic too. I played the PSP version. I didn't play the PS1 version, but the PSP version is so hard. But you can the game actually just lets you go back in time though, like X number of turns. So like I would just keep hitting these parts where like, oh okay, I'm completely screwed, and then I would like reverse time like 10 turns and give myself another
Right.
shot. Yeah. Yeah, like I can't fathom
You can't
how
ever
you
get
could just,
stuck.
well, you can get
Can you
stuck.
imagine starting over
But-
every time?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's where that would get
like,
frustrating.
it was like I would win eventually, but like I can't even imagine a situation where you win and get everything right on your first try and like don't have to like rewind. Like it's so hard. And like
Huh.
then they went
I-
on to make Final Fantasy Tactics, which is also awesome, and that also has a challenge, and you can't reverse in that game, but that game's not so brutally hard that like you need to like reverse. Like you can beat that game by just having the right strategy. But the whole time I was playing Tactics Ogre, it's just like, this is really hard. I would be doomed, like without rewind.
I'm hoping
That's
that
cool.
with this newer version, they end up adding easier difficulty options for people who just want to play the story. If it's really that good, and if I get stuck, like I'm still gonna want to continue it. So I'm hoping that they add difficulty stuff.
Yeah,
I'm the
true.
same. If they have some accessibility, I'm for sure going to try this. I've heard for too many years how great this game is to not have played it.
Yeah, the story it's really good, and it had like it has branching story paths like the recent triangle strategy, but it's not as many. Like triangle strategy has like a lot of branches. This one has like I don't remember anymore. Let's say it has 6. That's just a random number I made up. It could be completely wrong. But the point is when these branches do happen, it's for like really major things that like really change the story. Like the very first branch involves I think the very first branch involves deciding if you want to just like massacre a whole town because it's like convenient for like your political alliance. And you can be a terrible person and do that if you want, but I think most people didn't. But point being, like the story really goes in different directions, and like regardless of where it goes, like it's really well written. And that was an issue that I had with Triangle Strategy, that like the story was like, but this is really good.
Because I was so interested in Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy, but then once I hear the story's not that good for both, I'm like, that's what usually pulls me through a JRPG, it's the story and characters.
Yep.
And
Yep,
when I hear that, I'm
100%.
like, is it even worth like the time investment?
Well, like the thing is with Triangle Strategy, the game does actually have some people who say it has a really good story, and I say they're wrong. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be the happiness police. Like if someone really enjoys it, more power to them.
Yeah.
But but I still think even though I thought the story was like so, the actual choices in Triangle Strategy, I thought it was really fun just seeing like how those things would unfold, because the changes the choices you make do have like meaningful changes for the story, and it is neat to see those things. Like it's thrilling for its own sake, even if it's like not necessarily like cerebral, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's
I
time to
do
go,
want
you
to say,
guys.
I just want to shout one game out. I won't go into it or anything. You guys should check out Bramble the Mountain King if you haven't
Oh,
seen
yeah.
it. The only thing
Bramble.
the only thing I can compare it to is like it reminds me of Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. If you guys played that game,
Oh yeah,
like it
yeah.
has that feel to it, and it looks really really cool. So, anyways,
It's a game where you're like really small in the environment, right?
and there's
Oh,
like
that's neat.
giants. Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
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 So
that was-
what's it called? The app is called Bumble. I need to download that. Got it.
Yep. But yeah,
Also,
that definitely looks good. There's
okay,
also
one
that.
more.
Okay, yeah,
I think
Mary.
Eric wanted us to shout out Kamiwaza, Way of the Thief.
Oh, I never.
He says
I
you
don't remember
basically
what that is.
sneak and steal houses.
Oh.
You
Mary,
steal
what was
the
your
whole
game?
house.
I was gonna say I
You just
cannot
take the whole
let
house and put it in the knapsack.
I cannot let this podcast episode end without mentioning Silk Song. Like,
Oh yeah, Silk Song.
Yeah.
Still no release date.
hey, they said they were showing things that were happening within a year. I'll accept that.
That's not acceptable. Like, come on,
Wait,
a whole year.
We also saw new gameplay for the first time
Okay.
in like 4 or more years. It's been a very long time. I lost my shit whenever like they showed it. So I'm
I
very
thought that was a
excited.
pretty interesting marketing trick. They said these are all games you're going to be able to play in the next 12 months. And like
Yeah.
instead of slapping a year label on it, you're like, "Oh, 12 months isn't that long, but like fucking next year."
A long time, yeah.
Yeah.
This game, the trailer got an insane amount of views. Like, I didn't quite realize how big Hollow Knight was as a series. Like,
Yes. It's
it's
like
got,
this
like-
is such a beloved game.
It is. It's so good. Like it was my first like I guess reattempt at like 2D platformers because I was always really intimidated by them, and for some reason I decided Hollow Knight was going to be the one to play, and then people were like, "Oh man, you picked a really hard one." And I was like, "Oh, I did." And it's challenging. It's very unforgiving at times, but I love it so much. It's so good.
Eric said 5 million on the Switch alone. The
Yeah.
old trailer.
wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That's exciting too for people who want to play that game. I'm gonna play the original one day. It's been on Game Pass for like probably 2 years now, and I've never had it. Like I've never downloaded it. But yeah, that's been it. There's no point in closing it out. We didn't.
I don't get the shout out of game.
You didn't. I asked everybody.
No, you didn't
no.
ask me.
I said anyone got another game? That's everyone.
Well,
Go
I
ahead,
was
talk
giving,
about
I
Apex
was
Legends.
trying to. So anyway, so this new season of Apex Legends, let me tell you, how did nobody talk about the Plucky Squire?
The Plucky Squire.
Oh yeah.
Everyone of us,
yeah.
everyone else, go to Google.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
looks
that
really
looks
That's
good.
really cool.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me?
And-
This is such like brilliant elements.
And this game is from like the former art director of Pokemon. Like he announced out of nowhere that he wasn't on Pokemon anymore, and he has this indie studio, and this is the game they're making.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks
Yeah.
awesome.
Another
This
game
looks
looks awesome.
absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
American
I really like.
Arcadia. Cool. Sorry,
Yeah, I
man.
like how
That
they
game's
like.
meh. We're talking about this.
Yeah, I like just the
That's right.
the retro elements added to it, like Punch Out and like some like shmup action on like the side of a coffee cup, and then going into 3D and like this is
Yeah.
like 100% like my style of game and something I would really enjoy.
Hell yeah. Did that get a release date?
Mm,
Think so. I think wasn't during the Devolver show.
Yeah, this is during Devolver.
That's why I never
can't
saw it
remember
then. This
all-
looks really cool.
Steam just says 2023.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, it looks
2025.
great.
It kind of reminds me of It Takes Two in terms of the multiplayer element. Is it
Yeah.
co-op?
Yeah.
Or is it single player?
Mm, To me, it
Never
seems like
mind.
it's going to be single player. I don't think.
Yeah,
it's
I
Okay,
don't think
thought
they
I saw
said.
some multiple characters, but maybe they were just NPCs.
Player.
Damn,
But yeah,
I'm
that looks
glad you
cool.
brought that up, Greg. This looks incredible. Oh yeah.
hmm
Oh, it's like 100
Yeah.
games in one.
Yeah, it's pretty
looks cool.
wild.
Wow, he jumped out of that 2D book. And then
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
was
it's
Yeah.
so
Really
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's dope.
I like how they do that. Like a genre hopper type game where you like play through the levels. This one's like this type of
That's
one.
what I love.
Like a little bit Mario
That's what I loved
Galaxy or
about It Takes Two.
Odyssey.
Yeah, I was gonna say a
Yeah,
link
that-
between worlds as well, like that hopping into
Mm.
surfaces sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're right.
totally.
All
Yeah,
right,
that's really
guys.
cool.
Super
It's
cool.
Okay,
officially
this time we're
done.
really done.
E3 is over. Or not E3, it's over.
Not E3.
It was a good
Yeah.
few weeks. And hopefully Nintendo announces a Direct. We did not actually get to the topic of Nintendo's
No.
Direct. That's apparently happening on the 29th. So I'll have to add the
Allegedly.
title of the show.
Allegedly, yeah.
I don't even believe it. Yeah, I don't
I
even
don't
believe
either.
it.
I'll
Especially
believe it when
because
it happens, yeah.
yeah,
All these
yeah, and
leakers.
plus I genuinely think Nintendo is vindictive in that regard too, because like there's been several times it's like, all right, this is the date, and then it passes. And like I genuinely think Nintendo is like, oh well, you think we're gonna do it on this date? Oh, that's what you think, huh? I don't think so. Not anymore. We can hold it. So
I would do that if I was Nintendo. I 100% would be that petty.
yeah,
I feel
why
like
not?
they are. I
Like,
feel like they do that, like without
I remember
even
they-
knowing.
for
I remember
real,
they did
yeah.
that one time. Everybody said it was going to be on like a Thursday or Friday, and then on like it passed, and then on that Sunday they were like, "Tune in Monday morning" or something like that. It was like the weirdest like Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, it was like the
time.
next day.
Yeah.
They were like,
The
put it
day after
tomorrow,
everyone
Nintendo
thought.
Direct.
I swear they're like, oh, they figured it out. Okay, nope, you're gonna have to wait longer.
Yep.
Like it just
hey,
seems
Bowser,
like
do
it.
you want to
They
push the
probably don't even
Direct back
care,
a couple
but-
days?
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out for 2 whopping hours, basically.
Mhm.
It's been a great show. E3 is over, and I will have to wait a while before we get any more news, unless Nintendo just goes wild and just announces a Direct. Hopefully soon.
Probably not.
Maybe this will
Yeah.
get back to being a Nintendo podcast whenever that happens.
There could be a direct. There
Eventually.
could be a direct and a PlayStation showcase in the next couple months. Who knows?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Definitely overdue. All right, we're not saying goodbye, so just say goodbye. Goodbye.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you next week. Hopefully my camera works next time.
Probably won't.
Nah.
Brett was frozen the whole time.
Fuck you, Greg.